What is up, y'all? Welcome back to the Get Ellievated Podcast. It's your girl, Ellie Talks Money, and I am so excited to welcome you guys to another great episode. You know that the Get Ellievated Podcast, we talk all about elevating your life, elevating your income, elevating your wealth, and today's episode is no different. We are going to be diving into some really juicy topics, but as well, giving you guys some real structured game, especially those of you guys who are in the online business space. So grab your notebook, grab a pen, and let's get into these gems. Listen, everything you need to change your life is already within you. You need to believe that. It has to work or it has to work. You got this. Scale your business, make more money, create your best life, and let's get elevated. Welcome to the podcast. All right, y'all, welcome back in to the podcast. So it is my pleasure to introduce my guest today, Mr. Justin. All right. He is the CEO and founder of Miestro. Is that correct?
Yep.
So let me just have you do yourself the justice of introducing yourself, please.
Yeah, so I'm Justin. I'm the founder of a company called Miestro, which was started back in 2016. So we help course creators, video creators be able to take what they know and turn it into cash flow. And we do that through our technology so they can host their courses, do emails, take payments, just
All
everything
the
in
things.
between. Yeah, so it's a tool that really helps them be able to make money online.
And 2016, that's a long time ago. So I want to ask, how did you know the course wave was going to start blowing up? Because that's a little before it really kind of caught up to, all these people creating courses.
Yeah, so I actually older than that. They call me OG now. I feel so old now. You know what I'm saying? They call me OG now. But I've actually been in the space since 2009. So 2008, I was working a 9 to 5. I mean, can you picture me in a golf shirt and selling cell phones with my khaki, my wrinkled khaki pants? I ain't know what I ain't know, right? But I started, and this guy, he used to come into the cell phone shop that I worked at, and he used to be like, this dude come in at different parts of the, like in the morning, the evening, at night. I said, what? Something just intrigued me to say, what do you do?
Yeah.
And he said, I sell products on the internet, and it kind of piqued my interest a lot. I was like, what is that? Because, now you say that's normal.
Exactly.
Right? But in 2008, that was
early.
I don't care if you sold e-commerce. I don't care what you sold.
Yeah.
It was really something that was very fascinating to me. So for me, I was very intrigued. And then I said, well, what type of products do you sell? He said, I sell digital products. And that was really like, dude, what is that?
I know.
Yeah. So
even now when people say digital products, it resonates a little bit more, but it's still a fairly new concept.
Absolutely.
So digital products. So what was the first digital product you sold? How'd you come up with it? Walk me through that.
So back in 2009, there was nothing there was webinars, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But if you got on the webinar, that thing probably cut out about 15 minutes. It was a struggle in the streets. It was struggle. So we did these things called teleseminars, right? So the only way that you could sell digital products back in the day was through teleseminars. That's
like
just showing
phone,
you,
like literally
phone.
On the phone.
Like people would get on the phone, they would register, and then they would hear your voice. They wouldn't see nothing.
There's no.
So you had to be a master salesperson to be able to get somebody to get on the phone, listen to you for an hour, and then you could sell digital products. So back in the day, you would sell CDs, right? You would sell CDs. So the big thing, that it wasn't like courses with video modules. It wasn't any of that.
It was like tapes.
It was like tapes. It was like you get an 8 DVD set, right? Like you got a whole kit. So, I saw a couple people do that. And so I started helping produce them. So you had CDs, you had MP3s. So my first product I came up with was called MP3 Profits.
Okay.
Right? So I actually own MP3 Profits, right? So the thing about it though, I had a dope sales page. Like you couldn't tell me my sales page wasn't
and you
popping,
still do,
right? I mean, it was really bad though. I'm just kind of being I'm just kind of stretching it. But the CD was popping out the page with the money falling down the page. That'd be scammy nowadays.
Right? But
back
at
the time, it was.
You was doing it.
I was doing it. But no, I sold that product for $37. So I remember I got my first sale. It was my first digital product. I got my first sale online. I was like, oh my God, I'm rich. You can't tell me nothing.
Of course.
I was rich. But we started selling the product, and I think we sold about 10 copies. And this is where I started to realize the value of coaching, and information
Yeah.
is when I went to this conference, right? And this lady ran up to me. I thought I was a celebrity. She said, Justin Burns, oh my God, you MP3 Profits? I was like, oh, I only sold 10 of these. Like, what are the chances that I meet one of the people that purchased my product?
Exactly.
And so I'll never forget this. She said, thank you. You changed my life. Now I'm into teleseminars. Now I'm doing all these different things. And I was like, oh, okay. She said, I would have worked with you, but you didn't offer anything else. And so I was like, okay, well, what does that mean? She was like, oh, it's this guy. He had this coaching program that he taught you how to sell more through, teleseminars. And I was like, okay, so how much did he charge? And she was like, $6,000. And at that time,
and this is 2009.
This is 2009. So I was like, I almost fell backwards
I know you
in
did.
the chair that I was sitting there, right? But it showed me the value of showing up for what you're worth. The knowledge industry, even right now, is kind of starting to level out, right? Where the scammers and the people who just got in for a quick buck, they're starting to fade away because the market is becoming more sophisticated
and intelligent,
right? So the real, as I tell my clients, see, you don't have to worry about like, am I going to get customers? What if I'm not a guru? Because none of that matters. Because here's what's starting to matter: real, authentic people. So I always tell people, will the real you stand up? Will the real you that wants to get your clients and your customers, the people that you want to attract, all you got to do is be you, because they're just going to gravitate towards you.
And that authenticity is what sells.
That's what's real. People tired of the fake cars. They tired of the rented stuff. They tired of all of that. They tired of seeing all of that. And so, and again, it's not to hate on that.
Right.
That's cool if you drive the car that you want. All of that is okay. But when you use it in your marketing, people are starting to become numb to that.
Exactly.
They want people who care about their goals, who want to see them get to their end result. That is what they care about these days. They don't care about all the hype and the BS no more. So what's happening in the marketplace is very fascinating, because I've been in the game where I've been in the game a little bit, and I'm starting to see the trends. And the trends is not that courses and information are going anywhere. It's the way that you position it to sell that's going to determine how smart you are in the marketplace and how you're perceived. And it's really important that your messaging is real and authentic, because not gone are the days that you get to tell somebody how long you've been in the industry. Right?
Doesn't matter.
People don't care about that no more. They care about, do you care about them? How great your product is? How authentic and raw you are? Do you pour into your community?
Yeah.
Do you build your community? They want genuine connections, which is why I say, if you are selling a course or any type of information product and it's not attached to community, you're probably going to be in big trouble in the next couple of years.
So tell me let's talk about that community element, right? What does that mean? Right? And how does someone who is growing a following actually build community? Does it mean having a whole bunch of followers, or is that not a requirement to build true community?
No, it's actually the opposite. Because when you think about, so your community is only going to grow to the effect that you grow. Because people don't want to follow just people because you have a lot of information.
Right.
Because when you think about the definition of community,
right,
it's people gathering together, but you have to understand that they're actually meeting together because they are attracted to a set of values, right? Because they want this values injected into them. And so community, like why people follow me, is you have to define what your value system is. For me, there's a few important things, which is, number one of my values is balance. I believe that most experts are out of balance, which is why they have distorted messages, which is why they can never find their tribe, because they're out of balance. So they're either chasing the money, and they're trying too much to chase the money to where they're out of balance with no purpose, absolutely burnt out, stressed out. Or you have the expert that's so zen.
We've seen that.
We've seen that. They just want to get their message out. They don't want to get paid too much. They don't want to charge too much. Go on with your blessed self, right? Because you deserve to be paid for your knowledge. You deserve to be paid for all the things that you bring to the world. So when you get back into zen, that's what your customers can see. Right in the middle. Right in the middle. They can see you. So like, for example, my values is, number one is spirituality. That is very important to me, but not the surface level spirituality. I had a spiritual awakening last year that really shifted the trajectory of who I am as a person. And so I started to inject that into people to talk about the real, not hide behind a veil because I was afraid of being persecuted or afraid of people judging me.
Right.
But then my tribe started to show up because they also were hiding.
Yeah.
They also didn't feel raw. They didn't feel like they could be raw. They would be judged by whatever they were a part of.
Right.
So that was one of my favorite values. And so when you do that, guess what happens? You start to attract your tribe. And when you connect them, here's another tip. When you build something, invest into your community. Don't just put it online and get on a Zoom call.
No.
Like most people do.
Time.
Time.
Showing up. Classes.
Meetups.
Yes.
Right? Connecting them with each other.
Yeah.
Helping them to build themselves up. When you do that, your community grows on its own.
It's
like
impact.
when I just right before this, I was on the live.
Yeah,
They
I
didn't
saw.
know, my students didn't know I was, gonna pop on their live, right? They didn't know. That's because I'm invested into my community. Gone under the, you got to be this guru that's up here. Yeah,
No.
you can.
You gotta be
value
in the
your time,
trenches
but
with
you
them.
gotta be with them.
Yeah.
And it's so important. And I would say also too, building a movement. So we can talk about that. You
Building
gotta
a
build
movement.
Yep.
So let me come back to building a movement. I want to talk about the scammer element, right? Because we see it all over the internet. We hear it all the time. Scammer, watch out for the scammers. So and so is a scammer. Just all of this, and it's specifically around people who sell courses, people who sell their knowledge.
Yep.
So why are those who sell their information considered scammers? And what's really led to that, and how do people avoid it? If you are someone who's really true, what do you need to do to make sure you're not lumped in with the scammers?
Well, first, I think, a lot of people just throw that word around.
They
right?
do.
As soon as there's a mistake made, he's a scammer, she's a scammer. So, we just always want to make sure that somebody actually scammed you.
Exactly.
Right? Because
it's not fair.
It's not fair. And I
Yeah.
think that takes away from the connotation of somebody that actually does scam somebody.
Exactly.
So that's number one, is that we got to just stop throwing around these buzzwords that make sense. Now, there are actual scammers.
True.
And what I believe is a scammer is someone that actually does take, right? They actually take from people, but they also lead people astray, right? They know that their methods are not proven. They know that they haven't really proven what it is that they're selling. They're just really it's a facade. It's like, oh, I can sell this piece of information.
Yes.
So I can get it even if I haven't done it myself. So that's one of the biggest definitions of scammers. If you have not done it yourself, then you are definitely scamming people.
Why
right?
why are you selling it?
Why are you selling it?
Yeah.
And so that has been going around. So your other question, though, is how can people avoid it? Well, number one, you have to kind of take yourself and really be able to look at the way that you are marketed to.
The way that you are marketed to.
Or that you are being marketed to.
Yes.
Right? And so you have to understand your value system. And so that's the first paradigm shift and the first breakdown. Did you buy this because you saw the fancy lifestyle? Then chances are you didn't really buy it because of the foundational principles of the person that you were buying it from.
Right.
So one is, I tell people, and I always look for this too, you have to first, before you purchase any product, you have to follow people.
Yes.
You have to subscribe to their email
Observe.
list. You have to observe. Are they giving value? Are they talking outside of just, you can run. One of the things I hate, and I'm going to say this word, and it might be controversial, but I am so sick of this word. If I hear this phrase again, I'm going to lose it. And it's called
I know what you're about to say.
Run the play. If I hear it one more time, listen. If I hear run
Now
the
wait
play,
a minute, Justin. Now I used to say run the play.
I get it.
I
understand.
did, and it's cute. It rhymes with a lot of
It
things.
sounds really great. And I get the listen.
I'm not a scammer. Y'all know that.
No.
I just think it's cute.
And it's not, I'm not saying that every
No,
person.
but I get you.
But it's like it's become this kind of phrase of embracing running quick things.
Yeah, and I don't like that. That's why I stopped saying
And it's not
it.
to say, listen, I tell people, they say, well, wealth is not quick. That's also a paradigm shift. That's not true.
Right.
Because there's people just like you, right?
Yeah.
Like there's people who the time has changed.
Yes.
Like back in the day, it would take you 10 years to make $1 million. It would take you 10 years to build wealth.
Right.
Now, because of the times and the internet, a pizza boy can be, and I know somebody who did this.
Yeah.
He was a pizza boy a year ago. He went out, built this audience on YouTube, built a following, sold a community that was $97 a month, and he has like 4,000 people every single month that pays him $97 a month. So you don't need to wait. But here's the thing. If it's too quick, it might be too good to be true. And so some of us, we want it quick. We want it fast.
Right.
And so what you'll notice is that the people who use that phrase, it's always quick, fast,
quick result.
associated. And so you have to be able to understand and look for the signs that are up front. It's like if you get in a relationship.
Yes.
Right? People be like, I didn't know he was like that. I didn't know she was like that. And I'm going to be like, listen.
Now, you saw them flags.
You saw the flags. You put the flag on the play. You saw a couple flags on the play. You just decided to ignore it and not follow it. And there's nothing wrong with giving people grace. But see, what happens is that you have to get to a place where you have to pay attention to the flags. So if you do see flags when you are buying products and services, you have to pay attention to that. You have to follow people. You go to their conferences. And you also, the biggest thing is, what are their students like? Not just a quick testimonial. What are the, like, I look beneath the surface when before I invest in anybody. What are their students saying about you? Like last week when I was, I did a conference called MemberCon, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the things I was reviewing, and we didn't tell nobody to say nothing. When we were reviewing the testimonials, they said, Justin challenges me. Justin helps me become a better leader. Justin helps me think better. Justin has helped me to realize who I am. See, that's the real. That's the raw. It's cool if I help you make money. That's great.
But those are transformations.
Those are transformations. Those are people whose lives are going to be changed forever. And for me, that's important. Yeah. And so I tell people, I call my people the GOATs, right? That I'm a GOAT creator because everybody can be a GOAT in their industry.
Yeah. So it sounds like to avoid being a scammer and to get out of that paradigm, you really have to focus on your people, your community.
Focus on your people.
And be honest, too,
Be real.
Be real, right?
Be authentic.
Be authentic.
Tell people your struggle stories. But here's the thing, right? So here's what most people do when they're telling stories. And this can help you become way more authentic, right? Not, hope the scammers ain't listen to this because then they go run that, right?
Wait a minute.
Watch out. But here's the thing. The way that people tell stories, it kind of unconsciously, if you're telling a story about how you built this, what most people do is they have two parts to their story. So one is typically, I struggled, and then here's how I became successful. That's the only two parts. You skipped a whole entire part of your story.
The process,
The process. The dark times. People want to hear the dark times.
Yeah.
People want to hear the connection to how did you do it? How did you come out of this storm? What was the quantum, I call it quantum leaping. Yeah. Right? What was the quantum shift? Because you don't just get from one day you're struggling. You have a quantum shift of you have an identity shift. You have a paradigm shift. You're about money, about who you are.
Yep.
That's what it takes to really become who you are in this industry.
Yeah.
And so what was that like? What was those days like? Not just I struggled. It was like, what was the process? I want to hear the process because I like processes more than plays.
Exactly. I like that. Run the process.
Run the process. Now, if I see you stealing that, I'm going to know you took.
You might see it on the Instagram caption. I'm not going to lie. Run the process. I like that.
Yeah.
But something that I'm thinking about too with this conversation is because it's changing, right? This market. You and I are in this similar space. We know that, like what you said, for people to gain customers, it's different now than it was. Our customer is smarter now. They're more observant. It's the flashy cars are not enough. What shifts would you recommend that course creators or coaches or people in the information space make for their business? Is it more to a subscription model? I don't know if it's only courses now. I don't know that that's enough for the customer. What do you think?
Yeah, so one of the things that I was talking about at MemberCon it's called a linear path. And what it means is that what most course creators, the thing that they're going to run up against is that now it's becoming way easier to create these vehicles that were once very sacred because you needed to have, expertise. You needed to kind of pay someone to do all of your video stuff. But now technology, including mine, has made it way more advanced, right? Yeah. But so I call it the digital product matrix, right? And we narrow it down to a couple categories, right? So you got courses, you have high ticket coaching, and then you also have membership. So, you have this product matrix of which you choose from which product am I going to create. The one I recommend to people, because of this linear growth process that's happening, is I tell them to build what's called a community recurring program. And what it is where most coaches have what we call up and down income. And so what happens is when you sell like I always say this, a one-time price is going to make you one-time rich, right? And that's it. It's going to make you one-time rich.
Yeah.
So you have to keep constantly chasing after a customer.
Right.
And here's two things that you have to go up against in these day and age, which is changing the landscape for everything. Number one, you have this thing called AI, and I'm sure we all have heard of it. And AI is more than just ChatGPT.
It's a lot of things.
More things coming down the pipeline. It's actually way smarter because I'm in technology, so I've been studying this for years. And I got, people in the tech field who call me every week and go, let me show you this. There was one guy, let me tell you, this stuff was crazy. I couldn't believe this. Like, one guy called me, he said, I want to show you something I've been working on. And so, that usually means like
that he's been cooking something.
So he said, let me show you. It's a voice activated AI. And he said, hey, build me a web page that has an opt-in box in the middle it's a color blue, and you put a leopard behind it, and it's going to go to another page. And he stopped right there, and the page was built in less than 30 seconds.
What?
So can you imagine what that technology is going to be like in a few years? So what's going to happen in a few years is that's going to be how we are able to extract answers. Is that we're going to be able to speak to our phones and speak to
and get everything.
Everything that's going to happen, right? And be able to get everything. But it's not going to replace community.
Right.
It's not going to replace where people can show up and they learn from the process. Answers don't get you processes, people do.
Yeah.
And so you have to go through that. The second thing you're going up against is it used to be like run ads or just do organic. Well, you have a couple different issues. Attention is becoming more scarce online because you have more people that are, again, creating more content, right? But you also have rising marketing costs that you are also competing with. So the people that you think are running ads, I just keep it real. This is why I gotta keep it real. The people you think are running ads, you're trying to copy them, and you're like, well, they must be. Their ads are everywhere. No, they might be running a deficit. They might be losing money to gain money, or they might be breaking even. Right. So they keep doing it. So you have to. Most people don't understand that because they try to copy people.
Right.
So what I tell my people is, stop all of that. Okay. Here's a better model. The model is, you build a community recurring program, which means that people pay you monthly, so your income is going up like this.
Right.
Every single time you add customers, as long as you build something that is sustainable and you take people on a successful path, you can't just it's not going to be enough in this next couple years to throw a bunch of videos together that are all over the place, that has no structure,
and
that doesn't really take your clients through phases to get them a result. Now, notice I said a result because most people think because I shot the video, that's a result. That is the opposite of a result.
Right.
So you have to you have to put infrastructure. You have to put a thought process into, does this actual product get a result? If it does, then you are going to have no issues with your income and your revenue model going up like this.
Right.
So when they get into the program, if you can encapsulate building a strong community around it where people feel their identity attached to this community, that they feel like they are part of a movement that's greater than themselves. When you do that, people will pay you every single month with no issues. Why? Not because they feel scammed, not because they don't want to, it's because they have to. Because this is the only place that they feel at home. This is the only place that they feel understood, and this is the only place they're growing. So they pay for that every single month. And then guess what you get to do as a creator? Guess what you get to do? You don't have to go out there and force anybody into a high-ticket product. Right. Because guess what? They're paying for the information, but you get paid for the implementation. And so when you go and you say, here's my price point, it's $15,000, it's $20,000, it becomes irrelevant what the price is.
Right.
Because you've completely shifted their paradigm. So you don't have to sell anybody. You can completely cherry pick your customers and they want to pay you.
I like that. So you really see it as that Ascension model is, building your audience, low ticket or mid ticket community. And then if you want to have high ticket for the implementation, for the further transformation, that's where you could be. That's a sustainable business.
It's a sustainable business that you initially have to put some elbow grease into.
True.
Right?
True.
Because it's not the fast, high ticket money.
It's not run the play.
It's not the run to play. But it is when you see the growth. If you put those two models up against each other, and when you look at the growth and the trajectory of the business model, the community recurring will always beat the straight person that they might initially make money up front. They might get a cash injection, which is fine. And you can still do that process.
Yes.
I didn't say that process didn't work. And some people are like, oh, Justin's saying courses. I didn't say that.
It does work.
Somebody, it does work.
Yes.
But use that as a model to build out the next model, which is going to get you long-term growth.
Right.
Because I tell my people, I say, position your business as though you're going to sell it, even if you have no plans of selling it.
Because a valuation of a business that has a recurring revenue model is 10 times more valuable than one that is just customer by customer. Because essentially you're starting at zero every year. So for those that are listening who are in the course space or who are coaches or, you know, really any type of business, how do you start to transition to a subscription model and really prepare your audience for that? And what's a good price point to be at, right?
Yeah.
Is it 97? Is it 47? Is it 397?
Yeah, good question. So when you are more result oriented, you know, make money, or you have a big result where somebody can get a result like that, then your fees can really command more because people go, I can, and it's just not making money, right?
Right.
It could be to get into a certain career field. People see a payoff. So the payoff to them is, oh, I'm charging $197 a month or $200 or $300 a month. I can actually see myself getting there because what I tell people, before you start thinking about charging any money, you have to think about what the offer is.
Yeah.
People don't think about the offer.
Yeah.
Right? So will your offer, there's two components I always tell people that are like make people go, okay, I have a connection to that price point, I'll pay it. Number one is time, right? Is this going to reduce me getting to my, or get me to my end result in a faster amount of time, right? Is it going to get me there faster? So that's one. Two is ease of, like, the ease of doing it. Is it going to remove the friction of me being able to make this easy? You know, so I always tell this example, right? So, you know, I'm trying to get my sexy back, right? Trying to get my sexy back. So, you know,
Love it.
So, you know, I've been doing fitness. I lost like 30 pounds.
Oh, yes.
So, you
amazing.
know, next time when we do part 2,
hello,
your boy gonna be fit, okay? So, so you know, I had met 2 people at a conference, and one lady was a fitness coach. And she comes up to me and she goes, Justin, you know, I can help you. I said, okay, let's have a conversation. So we get on the phone, and she's like, you know, here's what we're gonna do. I have this 8-week boot camp. First off, boot camp sounds like a lot.
Yes.
Right? So you have to also watch
like
the
stress.
words that you say. So she's like, I got this 8-week boot camp, and we're gonna get you in shape. And, you know, here's what what we're going to do. You're going to go to the gym 6 days a week. You know, we're going to get you on the fitness plan. Now, all of that sounds logical, right. But in reality, it doesn't make me move. It's not the connection point, right? So here's the second person. Point B, she says, she gets on the phone and she goes, hey, listen, we already know your goals. You don't want to lose weight, you want to release it for life. And here's the thing. You're a busy CEO, Justin. You're running a tech company. You're doing all these things. You're helping other, you know, creators with their messaging. So you don't have a lot of time.
Yes.
Here's the thing. I've created a program that's going to remove the friction and help you get to your goal faster. So the first thing we're going to do, phase 1, we're going to do a reset. It's called the reset. So we're going to get you on a juice fast, a juice cleanse, because we need to clean you out first, number one. And it might sound hard, but I'm going to make it easy for you. I'm going to tell you exactly what to do. But because you're a busy CEO, I'm actually going to make it easier where I'm going to order your juice for you. You're going to do what?
She taking clients? Because where can I sign up? I'm sold already. Hello.
Listen, and I was sold, right? When she said that, she's removing the friction.
Yes.
So that was phase 1. Phase 2 was, we know you got to work out. So you're going to do these light runs in the morning, But I'm also going to find your fitness trainer for you because guess what? Your mind, body, and spirit has to be aligned spiritually. And so I can't just get you any fitness trainer. What I have to do is I have to get you somebody, because fitness trainer also are coaches.
Yes.
So in a sense, I have to get you somebody that aligns with you on the spiritual, emotional level. So I'm actually going to interview and get that for you. And then she said, the last phase is your food, right? She said, so we're going to put you on the plan. We're going to get you some blood work so that we know exactly what foods to do. And I'm going to order that for you. And this is a 90-day process. It's going to allow you to perform better as a CEO, and it's going to allow you to grow your business. She has not talked about weight loss. She has not talked about going to the gym.
Right.
So guess what I did? When she presented her price, investment became irrelevant.
Yeah. Because of the results.
And it was a 5-figure investment.
Oh,
At
wow.
that point, I didn't care because I wanted the result, right?
That's an interesting thing about the pitch, right? About sales, about the pitch. I agree with you that I think so much of the time in this space, because we are competing for information, anyone who's selling online, that you focus on info, right? But what really gets people to move the needle, because there's so much information, is here's what your life is going to look like after you join my community or you sign up for my course. But how do you deliver that type of thing in a short form piece of content?
You just have to know what, I call it the elephant in the room. What I teach my people is called the elephant in the room messaging. And what that looks like is you have to know exactly what the elephant in the room conversation that your prospect is having with their most trusted advisors, not the people that are surface level friends. You have to have the most intimate conversations with the people that they are talking to, things they won't share in public because they're too embarrassing. So you have to, as a course creator and a person that is an influencer these days, if you want to attract your ideal customer, you have to not be afraid anymore to offend the people that are not your customer. And I tell people that. Do not be afraid to offend people that are not your customers. Because if you do, if you are able to have those intimate, raw conversations that they are afraid to have, when they see you as a leader, they go, Ellie understands me.
Right.
Wait a minute. Now, what does that mean? That means that you attract a different type of customer. That means that, you made the money up front, but it means that you actually built something that you also are proud of. One of the things at MemberCon that people talked about, and I'm so proud of, they said it was some good people in that room. I mean, your people was in that room, right? So this is good. Look, they good people.
Some good people.
Right? But they were like, everybody, you can't say that when you go to every conference.
Right.
You go, okay, it was cool, but it's like, man, I felt like I was in there. And I said, you were in there because you were attracted to the raw messaging that I put out.
Right.
The real. And so some people make, it's wooey in there. But it doesn't matter because I don't care anymore about offending them.
Yes.
I care about what my tribe cares about. And so that's one piece. The back end piece becomes that you have to, in this day and age, invest in your infrastructure on the back end. It can't be enough for you to just have some lame little help desk.
Yeah.
Invest in people.
Yeah.
If somebody's struggling, get someone who can reach out to them, right? Get somebody who can reach out to your customer. Get someone who can talk to them.
Invest there.
Right? Invest there. And then also just make sure you have a really great product. That's why, when I started Miestro, I didn't feel connected to the product because I was just building and doing what everybody else said.
Yeah.
Then about last year when I had my spiritual awakening, right? I was like, we're rebuilding the whole platform. My team was like, are you crazy? Like, have you lost your marbles? And I was like, no, because I know what the vision is. We have to make this product one of the best for our people. And so I spent the last 2 years building Miestro 2.0.
That's awesome.
And that's what you have to do sometimes to really build.
That's what I was just going to say. Sometimes you have to start over, and that's okay. You have to reassess. And I think that that's what we're seeing now in this phase is some people are exiting the game and some people are reforming themselves and redeveloping themselves in order to stay in the game. So I have just 2 more questions for you. And that is, if you were starting over completely, let's say this is 2009, but it's really 2023, would you enter this digital product course creation space? And what would be your first plan of attack?
That's a good question. I would, because it is one of the most transformative things you can do to yourself, right? But you have to be prepared to enter into this space as a leader, as someone who's going to step up and do and have ethics and morals and values and care about your freaking customers instead of looking at them as just dollar signs. You have to look at them as people.
As people.
Because, one of the things I tell people, they say, Justin, what was the success? Like, what made MemberCon? People are talking about this conference. Why are people talking about it? And it wasn't thousands of people in the room.
Right.
It was because I said, because here was my barometer. Of course, because I'm balanced, I'm not going to tell you that I didn't want to make money because that would be delusional.
Right.
I'm going to tell you I'm just a prophet. I just want to. No, I'm balanced. I believe that I am a wealthy, abundant individual, and I deserve abundance. However, not at the cost of people and sacrifice of people. So the second version of that, the equation to that, becomes that if you feel like you got on a plane and you spend all of this money and you got put into hotels and you did all of this and you felt like when you went back home that it was worth every single minute of it, then my job was done.
Yes.
Right? So for me, because I think people don't put that in the conferences, some people spend their last dollar coming to a conference.
I know.
And you have this subpar content. You have no energy. It's just a sales and a pitch fest. And I know we're talking about some real raw stuff, but let's keep it real. That is the way this industry is going to change.
We've seen it all the time. I've been to conferences like that.
Yeah,
You've been to conferences like that.
I got on the plane for this.
I left my kids at home.
I left my kids for this. I left my people for this. I could have been doing other things. So for me, there is an opportunity for people like that. And so would I enter in this space? Absolutely, because it allowed for me to change my entire life and be able to do it. Where would I start? I would start with what I'm good at, right? I would start with something that I actually have done.
Yes.
Or there's many other fields. Like, let's just say, people out there that are watching this and they go, well, I'm not really an expert. I don't really know how to get in. Well, there's so many different facets that you can do. For example, I started off as what's called a joint venture broker, right? So I would go to conferences and connect people and their products and get paid off of that. In this space, don't allow Instagram influencers and gurus to only make you think that the only way is that you're this celebritized person in front of the camera.
No.
There is so many opportunities in this space. You just have to know where to go, identify it, and then you're able to make
and
money
execute.
from it. Yeah, absolutely.
And so my last question for you, what does wealth look like for you? And how are you pursuing wealth?
So wealth to me is not anything that is material. It is the inner workings. It is the ability for you to find out why you were put here, your absolute purpose. It is working so deep on yourself that people start to not recognize who you are because you are getting rid of all the paradigms that were beat into your skull as a kid and as you were growing up, that absolutely you don't even know who you are until you uncover it. But that requires you to go through a season of darkness that people in this day and age are afraid
they don't want to do it.
Because what they don't realize is that when you go through the darkness, that's transmuted into light. Yeah. So they avoid the darkness and they just try to go to the light. And you could tell a person who has went through the fire, who have went through the darkness, you have, because I hear your story, right? And you've heard some of my story. Yeah. Because we're people that go, I don't mind facing the darkness, because when you get to that skill set where you're able to go, I faced this before, now I can transmute that into light, there becomes this different set of things that happen to you. You actually start to feel a paradigm shift. You actually start to attract the things that you want. And here's the biggest thing that I found out. Let me just tell you, Ellie, real quick.
Drop it on me.
Let me drop it on you. One of the biggest paradigm shifts that I faced was that you're not trying to find love. You are love. Ooh. You're trying to uncover the set of beliefs that made you believe that you needed to go chase this. You're not trying to find abundance. You are abundance. You're trying to remove the beliefs that told you that you were impoverished. See, when you remove those things, then you become who you naturally are, that God made you, which is an abundant, loving, caring person. You don't have to go find them. People are trying to find these things, right? And so that becomes the, against you. Again, that's what my community loves.
I
So
love that.
I don't mind sharing those things, especially.
I love that. And I think, that's such an important piece, because so much of the time when people are pursuing wealth or they want to make money, they're thinking of it as something outside of them. But the biggest thing I've also learned is I'm pursuing myself. The closer I get to me, the closer I get to, really discovering the true purpose that God already has in me, wealth comes as a default. It is impossible to be on a path of getting better as a person and not make money.
Absolutely.
It just comes. It's almost automatic.
It's inevitable.
Yes.
Because if you are providing value to a marketplace, if you put the right offer in front of the right people, they are conditioned. I tell my people this.
Yeah.
I told them this in MemberCon. I said, let me break a pattern for you guys. You do not have to train people to buy. They've been conditioned since they were 5 years old to buy, to purchase. So even if you put the right offer in front of them and they are connected to that offer and it helps them solve a deep pressing problem, they are going to buy, which means that wealth becomes a part of that. Yeah. You just have to make sure that you position yourself to where you are connected to something deeper than yourself. Otherwise, you are going to go. That's why I tell people, it's why I've been in the game so long. And I've seen people go back to jobs, or they get out of a market, or they're a crypto expert 1 minute, and then they're a tech expert.
Now they're an AI expert.
Now they're AI.
Right? We got new courses on AI now from the same people.
Everybody
who are selling crypto courses.
Everybody's now they popping the AI courses off. And then whatever else. Now, the virtual reality is coming.
Oh, Lord.
So now we're about to see a play.
Virtual reality course.
Now the virtual.
Too much.
Look, we're going to get in trouble for this.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because me and your audience, they have these conversations amongst each other.
Right.
And they want somebody who can actually talk about this to say, man, those people care about us. They care about, we're more than just $1 to them.
Right.
We want to give them dollars.
Yeah.
But they're more than just $1 to us. So when you have longevity, you see all of this in the industry. And that's why I've been able to tell people, I've been doing this for over 13, 14 years. I've seen people come and go back to jobs. And if you see, they're making a lot of money, they're making a lot of money now.
Right.
But do they have longevity? How long have they been in the industry? That's a leader I want to get behind.
Yeah.
So
makes a difference.
Yeah.
Well, Justin, tell the people where they can find you. How can they connect? How can they join Miestro? Just all the things.
Look, this is my plug moment.
I know. Come on. Listen, I like to make sure my people can get in touch.
I appreciate you. Now, so you can find me on Instagram, CEO Justin Burns, one space, not the scammer,
right?
Not the million pages, that the fake page.
The real page.
Somebody said, Justin, you got more pages. You must have really pissed them scammers off. But no, the real page is CEO Justin Burns, and then you can actually go to our platform Miestro, which is Miestro spelled Maestro. Miestro, and by the time this drops, we'll have Miestro 2.0 with communities and affiliate program built into it.
That's dope.
And then every year we host MemberCon, which is my staple event where I talk about all of this stuff, the spirituality, but connected to your purpose and your mission and who you are, and building products that you are proud of, where you don't experience burnout in a few years after you make all the money. Most creators come back to me when they make all the money and they burnt out.
They're like,
okay, I made the money, but now I hit a roadblock, which everybody hits a roadblock. So I kind of teach them how to recalibrate and find that balance as thought leaders and experts so they can experience longevity and wealth.
I love that. Well, y'all, make sure y'all get connected. This was a great episode. If we need to do a part 2, definitely comment part 2 in the chat. DM me part 2, right? Wherever you are watching this, wherever you're listening. And share this with someone who needs the info, because there's a lot of gems. So we'll see y'all in the next episode. Bye. So if you want to be on the next episode of Get Ellievated, or if you want to be in touch with me and the team, then you can email podcast@getelevated.com, or find me on Instagram and email me at hello@ellietalksmoney.com. Either way, we cannot wait to have you on the show and have you apply to be a guest for a part of the live business coaching. I'll see you guys soon.